So this COVID is actually it's a kind of coronavirus, which there are large number of family of viruses. It's COVID is one of new virus which is found to be, I mean, in 2019 December. It's quite similar to your SARS and MERS. SARS, which is in 2004, and MERS is a Middle East respiratory syndrome, which was in 2013 and 14. Now this COVID has spread to almost 213 countries across the world. It has the World Health Organization has declared as COVID as pandemic. This pandemic has a profound impact on humans life, economy and healthcare system. So let me I give some statistics here. This slide is prepared yesterday. So as on 30th May 2020, there are 60 lakh 45,000 or more than that total confirmed cases around the world, and approximately 6%, that is 3 lakh 67,000 deaths due to this COVID-19. The interesting fact is 44% is already recovered, and that 30 lakhs or more than 30 lakhs cases, 50% case are still active. You can see that in these 30 lakhs, 98% cases are mild cases, but 2% are very critical cases. Let us there are see top 10 countries across the world, their statistics, the current situation. The US is in the top, more than 17 lakhs confirmed cases, more than 1 lakh deaths. So here you can see that in the list, India is in 9th position, Brazil second, and all the European countries like Spain, UK, Italy, France, Germany, they are having large number of infected COVID cases. See, one important, one interesting statistics you can note here is this case fatality rate. Case fatality rate is an indicator that measures the severity of the disease or epidemic. And you can see here all the developing countries like Spain, UK, Italy, they are approximately 14 to 15% case fatality rate. For USA and Brazil, approximately 6%, but for India it is less than 3%, which is 2.86. Here another figure is coming to, another important statistics you can note here, that to the test for 1 million population, which is for India, which is very very less, only 2,619 cases for 1 million population test is being conducted in India, which if you compare with all these developing countries, which is quite low. We have to, the government should take aggressive testing to increase this number of tests per 1 million population. Since I have also taken this Odisha, the state of Odisha figure here. You can see, till 30th May, there are 1819 cases and only 7 deaths. You can see only 7 deaths here in Odisha. So, and interesting fact is more than 50% they are cured from this COVID, and the case fatality rate for Odisha is less than 1%. This statistics, for Odisha actually the is doing very well from its initial cases, initial phase, because Odisha's experience in handling this disaster management is that are giving the government advantage to handle, to effectively manage this COVID pandemic. So if you see here this prevalence of this prevalence of different states, I mean the statistics in different states. So it is you the Maharashtra state is in the top of list, Tamil Nadu, then Delhi, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. If you see the COVID death cases, again Maharashtra contributes maximum, and Gujarat is in the second in the list, while in the confirmed cases, Tamil Nadu was in the second of your in the list. So these are the current situation of COVID status in India, in the different states of India, different parts of India. So since there is neither a treatment, I mean, nor vaccine is available till right now, so so what I mean, so we have still I mean yet to understand the mechanism, the dynamism of this COVID-19 spread. So we must use some mathematical model to forecast or to study its trend and do some prediction in order to to take different effective steps. I mean, what should be the infected population size, what is the rate of recovery, and because most of the time we take decision based on this empirical data. The government and other agency, they used to take decision based on, because this is the evidence. We need to use this modeling procedure to obtain and to find the solution for this problem. So because this mathematical model means, actually model is nothing, model is the abstraction of a real problem in terms of mathematical language or mathematical formulas. So by using this mathematical model for epidemic, we can answer several questions like how fast this disease is going to spread, and what is the total population is going to infect, and what kind of control measures you can take. So these questions can be answered using this mathematical model. So we will discuss several modern mathematical or epidemiological models. One is epidemiologically used for forecasting or for prediction purpose. Let me speak more about an epidemiological model first, then I will discuss the time series model. In epidemiological model, we consider SIR model, which is nothing, which is like susceptible, infected, and recovery, and the SEIR, which is extension of SIR model, which is susceptible, exposed, infected, and recovery. Again, we can extend this model to susceptible, infected, and quarantine, and recovery. So there are many types of epidemiologized model. So let us discuss one, at least the basic model, which is susceptible, infected, and recovered model. So this is susceptible. This model, I have defined here few equations, few differential equations. You can easily you can think this S is number of susceptible, and your I stands for your number of infected, where R stands for the number of recovered. So dls by del t, it means with respect to time, the change you are taking, the beta actually here is your infection rate or transmission rate. The negative stands for, here is minus beta si. The your susceptible, infected and recover. That minus beta SI is this negative sign is for I mean once a person get infected, that reduced from susceptible it becomes infected. So that negative sign is the reduction, and del I by dt, that means number of you can say that the infection with respect to time. That means right now your gamma stands for recovery rate, gamma stands for recovery rate. So once this recovery rate is, sometimes you can say that gamma is the reciprocal value of I mean of the typical time from infection to recovery. So here you can take gamma from the empirical data 1 by 14, because 14 days we used to take as quarantine time, that 1 by 14 is 0.07. So but for beta, beta is you need to estimate beta. Beta is quite I mean you need to assume some distribution, accordingly you need to estimate this value. At any particular time your total population is n, which is your total susceptible, infected and recovered. The whole of this total contributes your total population. Suppose you consider for India it is 137 crores population, all are susceptible because anybody can get infected. So this size can be estimated, I mean beta can be estimated from this you assuming some distribution, and this is tricky one. I am not going to discuss in detail for beta. My topic actually covers basically the ARIMA model, which is a time series model, can be that I am going to discuss in detail, because ARIMA is nothing, this is auto regressive integrated moving average model, which I mean it has two parts. One is AR part, another is MA part. You can say auto regressive part of order A. Suppose you say P for moving average order is Q. So ARIMA is auto regressive integrated moving average model. So auto regressive means you are considering the value of time series regressed on previous values. Suppose you say, take us one example. Suppose you want to know I mean talk about the stock market price for tomorrow. So it is very I mean your 2 days stock market value is closely related to your tomorrow's value. So you can take that kind of I mean relationship. The previous value can be taken into account for today's value. So similarly for MA process you can say this considered that random or white noise values. So D here stands for differencing. I mean when you are considering time series data, most of the time your data is not stationary. So you need to convert your data to stationary process. A stationary is a typical term. Stationary is I mean a time series stationary if they do not have trend or seasonal effects. Or you can say the summary statistics are consistent over time. I mean if you obtain that mean or variance or autocorrelation, I mean these are constant over time. So that kind of series is known as stationary series. If your the time series I mean the data is not stationary, you can convert your data to stationary by doing some differencing of first order, second order, and go on just to get your data to as stationary time series data. So this is the trend you can observe from for India. You can find that there is a linear. I mean there is a linear. I mean increasing trend of trend which you can see the first plot. If you I mean this is not stationary. In the first plot shows is clearly this is not stationary. You need to convert it. I mean so that's why what we have done. So we go for first order differencing. First order differencing still there is a trend of increasing. So again we go for second order differencing. So second order differencing leads us to I mean stationary kind of series I mean data. Similarly, and once we got the stationary data, then we I mean, because in the model we need to follow four steps. One is your basically you can say one is identify the model, the second one is the estimation the parameter, third is diagnostic checking, the fourth step is forecasting. So we have identified that model, then we go for estimation parameter. We again the same way we have done for the state of Odisha. I mean, there is a really increased trend we can observe from the raw data, and what we have done, we have gone for that first order differencing, and we see that the first order differencing is not giving us that stationary series. Again we go for second order differencing from the data. So second order differencing is giving some extent that stationary series. So and there is a test which we have used, that is a Dickey-Fuller test. From the Dickey-Fuller test we can obtain, I mean we can I will answer that. Okay, so there are questions I will answer once I complete. In between I'm not let me finish it, I mean let me complete it. Once I will answer your questions. So once we got that stationary data, then we can go for identifying what would be the my P and Q, and I mean what is AR process order and MA process order. From this AC plot we have identified, I mean we have several competing model we have fitted here from this for this Odisha and India difference data. I mean the second order difference data, we have fitted these several models. From this model you can you can easily, I mean because we know that the smaller value of AIC is going to give you better model. So here for ARIMA 1 to 2, it means AR process 1 differencing second order difference, and AMA process 2 that is giving the lowest AIC value for India. Similarly for Odisha we are getting that ARIMA 222 is lowest AIC value. These two model we are taking into account, because this is means among these several models, these two models are I mean lowest AIC value. So we are taking into account these two models for the prediction purpose, I mean for the forecasting purpose. So these are the estimates parameters obtained from particular these two models that we have shown here. The next, I mean the forecasting total confirmed cases, I mean next 10 days we have forecasted the values actually here. So for India, and its forecasted value in of lower and upper limit 95% confidence. So it means values are forecasted for next 10 days. So since we have data from starting to 28th May. So you can from this value, let me compare what exactly actual figure, what I mean my predicted figures, I mean my forecasted values are this, what happened last 2 days. I mean let me show you the values you so it means for 29th, I mean 29th it was the predicted value was so 1,64,661. Actually it is 1,65,861. For Odisha you can see 17 predicted value, I mean forecasted value is 1785. The actual came out 1723. 30, I mean the case of 30, I mean yesterday it was my forecasted value was 1,71,146, but it came out actual value as 1,73,763. Similarly for Odisha it is, I mean you can see here my Odisha, the predicted value for Odisha is little bit higher, but actual case for Odisha is below that predicted value. For today, whatever data I have gathered right now, it is for Odisha is 1948. My predicted value for 31st is 1910. So it's a very close. I mean, Arima is giving very good result here. You can compare. You can see. But for India, it is 1,82,143. Also, it's going beyond. I mean, in controlling, I mean, in Odisha is very close value. You can see because there are several things is involved. I have just taken this model to predict to what extent my values are very close or similar to the predicted values. So these are the forecasted graphs are the same. For the same, I have defined, I mean, drawn this plot for Odisha and India. Let me discuss one thing here. You guys have seen this paper. I mean, previously published one paper in, I mean, it's a kind of April 23rd. They have, I mean, this study was done very, I mean, for very reputed institution by research teams. They have suggested, I mean, their prediction was 5,35,000 till the mid May. 5,35,000. I mean, but right now we are only 1,82,000. So why there is so much so difference? So it is actually, you can see they have included this, they have projected this figure, but they have not taken into account there are the government has taken lockdown and says various steps in between. And the important thing is this factor may not be, I mean, always remember that model is based on certain assumptions. You can conclude, I mean, you can see that always this model is based on certain pragmatic realities. You might end up with results that blown out of proportion. I mean, if your assumption is fitting, I mean, a very real, as I mean, your model is fitting, and in that sense you will find very accurate figure. And my suggestion is always rely on short term prediction. I mean, what I have done, I have just predicted for 10 days, not more than that, because I know that every, I mean, now and then, I mean, every moment there is a changing, I mean, there is something is going to happen. So it's a very dynamic, because accurate prediction of COVID-19 outbreak is very challenging. And there are because there are many unobserved factors are involved. How you can measure that social distancing, how far the people are adopting that is also a question. So you cannot, I cannot put everything in your model. I mean, it's a very tricky, I mean, very difficult, because human behavior, virology, how the COVID virus is behaving, and how the human immune system is reacting to that, these are also important. So if you can able to take into account the effect of all these parameters in your model, then you can get very accurate figure. Because I should have mentioned it earlier that all models are wrong, but some are useful, is given by that great statistician David Cox. So my point is, I mean, my forecasting result, predicted results, that this trend is going to continue, that increasing trend. So we have to be very cautious. We have to follow some, I mean, regular, I mean, government steps like social distancing and other health guidelines we have to follow in order to contain the spread, or in order to flatten the curve. So that's these are the reference that I have used. So this is my last point. I want you all to promote statistics. This is what I used to say in wherever I go for a lecture. I used to say this, that I want to, this is my final call, that this should be okay. I think I have covered these things. what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me see. Any questions
I
or
think
any?
that several questions, Prakulji.
Ha,
There is YouTube, so if you could please take the questions and if you could please answer all these things. Hello,
okay. Ha.
Dr. Prabhu. I have a story. Actually, recently you might have heard news in Indian Express and Money Time like this. Here they have predicted that half of the Indian will suffer from in the pandemic Corona. So you know that we have to accustom or adjust with this virus, the pandemic. So how, as a statistician, how we predict what is the validity of this particular news? I think you can give a good estimation and also aware the people regarding such news. Is it true or it is is some ambiguity in this news? That is my question.
Yeah, your point, that exactly, that's why I have shown you that the previous prediction that 5,35,000 is predicted by three research team from three reputed institutions from India. What they said, that it is going to be 5.3 5 lakh 35,000 mid May. Since most of the time we are using this model which is based on certain assumption. If this assumption is not made, I mean this is failed to make this assumption, then obviously we are going to get some bad result, I mean, which is far from reality. And most you can better know that always rely on short term prediction, because this disease or pandemic is you can say that very dynamic kind of thing, and government is also taking a lot of steps, I mean, to contain, like lockdown and social distancing, lot of measures. So how we can include those measures in our model? If that can be done, then obviously we can get very accurate figure, very close figure.
Yeah, actually, my question, you have in the academic perspective, you have done a very excellent, a really excellent job. But for a common man, the layman, as a how we explain the statistical models and all the things that the people which in the very means rural background and also a common people can understand the statistical how we reach the statistics to the very common people, so how they will understand. So this is meant for very few section of the people who can understand your model. So how, what are the things you can do for the common people to
See,
know these that models?
oh, okay,
That would
I
just
got I got
uh,
your point.
simply.
uh, See, what I have done, that no doubt that involves complex things, a complex model kind of thing, and this directly, these findings may not be helpful, but these suggestions, what I'm going to say or what I'm going to give it to government or health agency, accordingly, that can be taken into account while we are taking steps or formulating some health policies related to health system. I mean, directly it cannot, it may not be helpful to layman, but this surely I'm certain that this is going to helpful for the government and for any organization involved in the health sector.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Prabhu.
Yeah,
There is another question by Dr. Pradipta Rathi Panda.
yeah,
He is asking you that many researchers they have predicted up to two periods.
yeah.
Please comment on this. And secondly, he is trying to ask the diagnosis dates also matters.
than the accuracy of the I think he's asking about is ARIMA is sufficient or we should also use other forecasting models to cross check.
Yes, brother. That point is okay. I mean, see, there are various types of model. I mean, I have taken into account. That can be estimated from the data. I mean, yes, it can varies from place to place, but this is exactly not fixed 1/14 what I said, because this is what I have for in a published literature, that I took this value 1/14, I mean, as gamma value, but this can be okay.
Okay, another question by Biswajit Pani.
Hmm.
He is asking, have you considered doing scenario-based forecasting?
Scenario based forecasting, actually, in what sense? I mean, see, what this is two things what I have done. I mean, I have done for its India case and for my state specific case. But this can be extended. I mean, for state specific, region specific, that can be. I mean, that can be extended actually. And this is what for only 1-2 days I decided to give deliver these things. So that's why I started uh, working on this.
Okay, that's very nice from you. I think these are all questions we have covered up to wind up the session. Prafulji, thank you on behalf of.
One more question, bhai. I think
Okay, please carry it. Uh,
Because is one more. Sir, can we fit the
Offline, there is
Bernoulli
one
model
question
also?
by Dr. Sahadev Puna. You can see in the chat box. Okay, chat. Whether short-term prediction or long-term prediction will likely to give accuracy results.
See, that is what I have done. My point is, it's go for always go for short term prediction, because this is the disease is very dynamic in nature. Better you go for short term prediction rather than long term prediction.
Just one query, please. It is out of your this lecture, but my always I am searching the question why the statistician and all the people are using the very difficult models to predict such things when some of the means I'm not talking about this lecture, but when some of these easy solution are there, some of the simple mathematical and statistical tools can be solve this problem. Why this for solving this problem? So many I have seen many paper they are using what where the percentage can tell these things, but same things for doing same things they are using many models and again find out the same conclusion.
Uh,
So I am not getting this point actually.
no, brother. The problem is not so simple. You cannot. I'm. What I can say that the problem is so complex. The real problem is so complex. This simple model will not help you to find out exact solution.
I'm not talking about your, well, it is also, it is valid, but it is, I have already told it is out of this lecture. So many times I see that is, yeah, any, means that's why I'm telling my feelings regarding the current scenario of research paper. If you use the model, then the publication will be very easy. Then if you without modeling and if you do many literature, so I have written a paper with only literature, nothing data used, but this was rejected. Then same paper I use some of these data model and all the things, then I accepted. So that thing, the things is loud. Means I am not. I am very astonished to see this type of trend.
So,
Actually, that's why I'm feeling my.
that's good for me actually, brother. Being a statistician, the data speaks more as what you expect. Being a statistician, I would love to play with data. So
I totally respect you actually because the statistics is the playing of data and all the things. But in our case, also now the trend is changing. So if you the data and all the things, quantitative approach is much more means it is widely kept the qualitative aspect. So qualitative aspect now dying in the research. Everyone running after quantitative approach. So that may be somehow it will lose the taste of this research also. I
no,
think.
no, no, no. How you can say lose the taste of
It is a
research?
personal experience.
Uh, no, sometimes you need that to both qual and quant. I mean, your qualitative can be support by quantitative numbers. So better to collaborate with us like statistician. We are free to.
Okay. Thank you.
That's fine. नहीं नहीं तो ये कर. Hello.
Hello, Praful sir. You have covered
by
things we should
one more question actually. This because thing is one question. Can we use that Bernoulli model for number of cases of death, cases and death? Because actually, listen, this is you can this SIR model involves some distribution. You can take that Bernoulli because whether this individual will survive or death, so that can be used, and you can go for using that Bernoulli. I suppose no problem in using that. Thanks. I think that is you got your point. Okay, brother.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Praful sir. It is indeed a pleasure, and I hope participants learned so many things from your very excellent, time series forecasting, that is ARIMA model. So, on behalf of Hum Prayas, I think though there was big trouble in between, but you very excellently covered all the things. So, and Professor Shiv Shankar, I also raised very pertinent question. I would just like to say that data is the new well that we all